John, you just flew between the World Trade Center towers, and then you buzzed the Statue of Liberty. How can you do that? We've been teaching flying for 25 years, and we've taught hundreds of thousands of pilots on video worldwide, and this is the example you give them?
Yeah, and it was fun, too. You know, that's one of the really neat things about Flight Simulator. You can safely do things in an airplane that even the most experienced pilots never get to do.
That's true. And on this video, we're going to show you how to get the most fun out of Flight Simulator 2000 and use some of the same skills we teach pilots. In fact, many pilots use Microsoft Flight Simulator to help with their training and to keep proficient.
Plus, we'll show you some really neat tricks for fine-tuning Flight Simulator.
And even if you're a veteran Flight Simulator pilot, I'll bet we'll have you saying, "Hey, I didn't know I could do that."
You know, flying is always fun, but with Flight Simulator, you have the added thrill of flying the aircraft of your dreams. I mean, where else am I going to get a chance to fly the Concorde, complete with all the switches and instruments? It's just like in the real airplane.
John, flying the Concorde is a lot of fun. In fact, it's a heck of a lot of fun. But Concorde pilots always check the weather and plan their route and then follow correct procedures. You know, you can do the same thing in Flight Simulator, and you might have even more fun if you did.
Well, okay, Martha, that is a good idea. So why don't you show our friends here how they can prepare for a flight in Flight Simulator?
Okay. I'm here, John.
Yes, there you are. Why don't you show the folks what it's all about, Martha?
Okay. Flight Simulator includes many flights that start in interesting places all over the world. For instance, we could tour Las Vegas at night and look at all the casinos. Or we could fly over Paris. Now that's an interesting city from the air, especially in an Extra 300 aerobatic airplane. Now the view is better if you press W for windshield to see out the windshield without the instrument panel. Hey, we could even fly under the Eiffel Tower. Ooh, wow, now that's worth a victory roll. If you'd like to see your airplane from the outside, click Views, then View Mode, then Spot Plane. Or you can just press Shift-S. Now the extra you fly in Flight Simulator 2000 is Patty Wagstaff's airplane. She's a 3-time U.S. National Aerobatic Champion. But for now, I've chosen the flight that starts at Boeing Field in Seattle with Mount Rainier in the background in the trusty Cessna 182. Now before a flight, it's always a good idea to do a pre-flight inspection to make sure the airplane's ready to fly. So let's check a few settings in Flight Simulator before we take off. By the way, you can get the menus at any time by pressing the Alt key. Using the Options menu, you can customize Flight Simulator to make it look and perform just the way you want it to. For instance, on the Hardware tab, make sure that hardware acceleration is turned on. On the right side under Resolution, if you want to increase performance, select a lower resolution. To see more detail, pick a higher resolution. And on the Image Quality tab, you can adjust a lot of settings. For instance, scenery complexity. By the way, to switch between hardware acceleration and the normal display, press Alt plus Enter. To switch back, press Alt plus Enter again. You can also configure a joystick or yoke. You can even reassign actions to different buttons to suit your own preferences. For example, let's reassign the landing gear switch to the big button at the top of the joystick. That'll be handier for me when I fly a retractable gear airplane. So first find the landing gear up and down item, then click Change Assignment, and then press the button on the top of the joystick. And by the way, you can always get more information from the Flight Simulator Pilot's Handbook and Flight Simulator 2000 Inside Moves from Microsoft Press. And the Flight Simulator Help System is always available too. For instance, in Simulator Help, you've got step-by-step procedures. And in Aircraft Information, you've got handbooks for each aircraft. You'll even find aviation articles, including exclusive stories from the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association.
Hey Martha, look at this. The aircraft information section shows me the steps I need to fly the Concorde.
That's great, John. Since I happen to know that you don't have much experience flying the Concorde. In fact, not many of us do. So Flight Simulator includes information from the aircraft's operating handbook. Having these details right there is really handy. Plus, you can print any of those topics. Let me show you another great feature. Click the Aircraft menu and choose the knee board. It has checklists and all kinds of other information to help you fly the airplane. Now, let's help John plan a cross-country flight with the Flight Planner. Click on Flights, then on Flight Planner. Flight Simulator includes over 21,000 airports, almost all the public use airports in the world. John, how about if you fly from San Diego to Palm Springs?
Okay, Martha, why don't you plan the flight for me?
Okay. I'll have John depart from our home airport, Montgomery Field in San Diego. So I'll pick Search Airport IDs and enter the airport identifier KMYF. Then I'll pick runway 28 right for his departure. Now, his destination is Palm Springs. If you don't remember the identifier for Palm Springs Airport, but you do know it's in California, you can find the city by clicking on Search Places, then selecting California in the state box, and then scrolling through the list of cities until you find Palm Springs. Now, if there's more than one airport in the town, like there is in Palm Springs, make sure you pick the one you want. I'll pick Palm Springs Regional Airport. Now, what kind of route do I want? A direct course using the GPS system, or an airway route that uses ground navigation stations called VORs? I think I'll choose direct using GPS. Now, I happen to know there's some mountains just south of Palm Springs, so on the map, I'll adjust my route to go over the Thermal Airport. That will let John fly up the valley into Palm Springs for his descent. Now, as you know, weather is a big factor in flying, so pilots check the weather before they take off. I'll do that here too. I'll click on World and then Weather. Now, if you can connect to the internet, you can even choose to fly in the actual weather conditions that exist right now. Just click Real World Weather, and Flight Simulator goes to the internet and downloads actual weather reports provided by Jeppesen. Then, Flight Simulator generates the current conditions and automatically applies them to your route. But the weather in San Diego is always nice. So I'll clear that out and then do something that every pilot would love to be able to do. If you don't like today's weather, you can create your own instead. Now, for the most control, click on Advanced Weather and use the controls there to create clouds, wind, rain, fog, and all kinds of other effects. Now, since it's John's turn to fly, and I think he needs some instrument practice, let me see what I can do here. Let's give him some low ceilings, maybe around, 2,000 feet or so. Let's change the cloud type to cumulus clouds. And the coverage should be, maybe about 4/8. That should do very nicely. Of course, he's got to have rain. There has to be rain. And the rate should be, let's make it very high. Let's go to visibility then and pull that down a little bit. Pull it down a lot, down to about a 1/4 mile maybe. Yeah, that should do it. That should make the trip much more interesting.
Oh, Martha, come on. I wanted to sightsee today.
Okay, John, if you insist, I'll go back to weather and I'll give you a nice, pretty day so you can have a nice flight. Well, looks like you're all set, John.
Okay, Martha. Well, I'm now on runway 28 right at Montgomery Field here in San Diego, and it's time to run the pre-flight checklist for my Cessna 182. I'll press F10 to get the kneeboard, and by the way, I can go to the kneeboard at any time that I want for checklists, keyboard shortcuts, and reference information. Now, I could go through the entire pre-start checklist, but what the heck? I'll press Control E for engine, and we'll fire up immediately. Now, the 6 instruments that you see in the center here are my basic flight instruments. They are the airspeed indicator, attitude indicator, altimeter, turn coordinator, heading indicator, and vertical speed indicator. And a lot of pilots like to call that the 6-pack. Well, if you happen to be unfamiliar with a particular gauge or control, just point to it with your mouse and click on the right mouse button, and you're going to get detailed information about it. Now, I'm using the coolest joystick there is, the Microsoft Sidewinder Force Feedback Pro. And it's got lots of neat controls. It's got a throttle, it's got elevator trim, flaps, and lots of other neat stuff. And to look around, all I have to do is move the hat in the direction that I want to look. I'll move it left and forward. And hey, that's neat. Look at that. There's a flashing light on top of one of the buildings there at Montgomery. That's cool. Okay. To look forward again, all I have to do is release the button. Now, I'll put 10 degrees of flaps down for the takeoff. Roll in full power with the throttle. And pull the trigger to release the brakes. And hot dog, we're on our way. Wow, I can even feel the bumps on the runway in the stick. Now I can steer on the ground by twisting the stick left and right. Now as the speed increases to about 60, I'll pull back a little on the stick to bring the nose up slightly and start climbing. Oops, my airspeed's dropping. That means the nose came up a little too high here. I'll pull the flaps up. Now, I notice I'm having to keep a little forward pressure on the stick to keep the nose from getting too high, so I'll just use nose down trim to get rid of that pressure. Okay, I'll move the stick a little to the left, put the airplane in the left bank, and head for downtown San Diego and a little sightseeing. Let's get a little better view of the scenery. I'll press W for windshield to hide the instrument panel and give me a better windshield view. And wow, look at that view. There's Lindbergh Field, downtown San Diego, the ship in the harbor, Coronado Bridge. Wow, I like that. Now I can use the hat switch to look around here too. I'll press W to bring the panel back.
Remember the flight plan I set up for John? Well, now we can check his progress on the GPS. Click the middle icon and the GPS window will come up. The GPS shows me lots of information about the flight, including the airplane's actual track over the ground. To close the GPS window, just click on the icon again.
You know, Martha, we've got a great autopilot on this airplane. Let's put it to work. First, I'll link the autopilot to the GPS. Then click on the left icon to display the radio stack. Now I'll turn on the autopilot, select nav, set altitude hold, and sit back and enjoy the ride. To close the avionics windows, I'll just click the icon again.
Now, John thinks he's going to have a relaxing trip from here on, but I think he needs some practice on emergency procedures. Let's see. If I click on aircraft and then on systems failures, I could fail, well, his attitude indicator, or maybe even a whole system. How about his whole electrical system? Oh, what the heck. I guess I'll leave him alone. He's entitled to an easy trip once in a while.
You know what, Martha? We could speed this trip up a little. Let's use the map view to reposition the airplane.
Okay, John.
I'll just grab the airplane and drag it closer to Palm Springs. Then I'll set the altitude a little lower. And next I'll double click on the airport ID, which is KPSP, and check out the airport information. Now I want to listen to Automatic Terminal Information Service, and I see it's on frequency 118.25. By the way, that's called ATIS for short, and it gives pilots recorded information about the airport and about the weather around the airport. I'll bring up the radio stack again, and I'll tune the #1 communications radio to 118.25.
2014 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear below 12,000. Temperature 14 Celsius. Dew point 15 Celsius. Altimeter 2992.
Hey, now that's neat. The voice you hear on Flight Simulator is that same computer-generated voice that you hear on the real ATIS. Now I'm getting ready for landing here, so I'll review the checklist and procedures in the kneeboard. And the before landing checklist says fuel selector valve both, mixture rich, propeller high RPM, landing and taxi lights on, autopilot off. Hey, we're ready for landing, and we're cleared to land, so I'll reduce the power to about 12 or 13 inches of manifold pressure. I'll extend the flaps to 20 degrees and adjust the pitch to maintain about 65 knots. Line up with the runway. Now, it's also important to stay on the descent path, so I'll check the VASI lights off to the side of the runway there. And hey, I'm right on the glide path, red over white. Red over white, you're all right. Now, if you get a little bit slow, you want to smoothly increase the power just a little bit. If you're a little too high, you want to reduce the power slightly. And you want to remember to make smooth, small changes and give the airplane a chance to stabilize between those changes. Now, as I cross over the end of the runway, I'm going to smoothly reduce the power to idle. Gently raise the nose until the runway almost disappears beneath the nose. And hot dog, how about that landing, Martha?
That's really great, John. Right on the center line and everything. To learn more about Flight Simulator, click on Help and then Flight Simulator on the web. That takes you to the Flight Simulator website where you can learn more about Flight Simulator 2000 and download new flights and other enhancements. If you go to Links to Aviation Partners, you'll find a link to King Schools where you can buy aviation training videos and pilot supplies. You'll also find links to the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, Cessna Aircraft Company, Jeppesen, and other key aviation partners. Now, if you'd like a different challenge, like flying a Mooney or a King Air 350, or customizing your instrument panel or your aircraft, you might want to check out Flight Simulator 2000 Professional Edition. Well, John, I think that about covers it. Isn't it about time I got to fly the Concorde for a while?
Martha, be my guest.
Say, this is fun.
Folks, have fun in your flying. And by all means, please,
stay out of the trees.
Win this sensational Skyhawk! A Cessna for the new millennium. This 172R Skyhawk has been refined and enhanced to new levels of comfort and performance. This is the famous airplane featured in King School's videos. And best of all, it can be yours. This fully loaded 172 Skyhawk comes equipped with a deluxe Bendix King Avionics IFR package. The cornerstone of this reliable system is the KLN 89B IFR Approach Certified GPS. Plus 2 KX155A Navcom transceivers, audio panel with marker beacon lights, 4-place voice-activated intercom, the KAP 140 single-axis autopilot, and more. The dramatically quieter and smoother 160 horsepower fuel-injected Lycoming engine will whisk you away to your favorite destination. On your journey, enjoy sweeping panoramic views with the 360-degree wraparound windows while sitting in a stylishly upholstered, acoustically soundproofed cabin. Designed with the pilot in mind, the panel and overhead lighting elevates night flying to new heights of enjoyment. But to win, you must enter King School's newest Super Takeoff Sweepstakes. And your order of any King course automatically enters you to win. No matter where you are in your flying, King has a course for you. King flight test courses prepare you for your check ride. An actual FAA examiner tells you what is expected for every task, and your instructor shows you how to demonstrate your knowledge on the ground and in the air. When it's time for your next biennial, cut through the clutter and the guesswork. Prepare for your VFR in just a few hours with King's VFR and IFR flight review courses. And if you're ready to step up to twins, then you'll enjoy the all-new King multi-engine flying. This 2-tape set gives you the knowledge you need and supplies you with the do's and don'ts of safe multi-engine operation. King's exciting takeoff videos take you beyond the FAA knowledge test. Choose from a library of 13 informative and entertaining videos, including King's all-new emergencies, navigation from A to Z, the popular VFR cross-country flying, and the invaluable communications. The highly acclaimed knowledge test courses are always up-to-date and thorough, featuring state-of-the-art graphics, 3D animation, and exciting live-action video to make learning easy, interesting, and fun. After you've taken your King video course, let King's computerized exam review make it fun to ensure a Top Gun score. This easy-to-use program lets you choose questions by subject, select previously missed or unanswered questions, or take them all. Then receive on screen the correct answer and King's comprehensive, detailed explanation at any time with the touch of a button. And if you've moved up to CD-ROM, then King's all-new CD-ROM multimedia exam review does everything our computerized exam review does and more. Now you can see actual FAA test figures on your screen. And if you want to review some instruction, call up a full-screen, full-motion video segment right from the video course. See and hear a detailed explanation with just one click. Either way, your computer will track your progress, and King's report card highlights areas to concentrate on to improve your score. With King's Aviator package, you'll have a complete set of tools to help you through every phase of your flight training and beyond. You'll gain the knowledge you need with your King video exam course. You'll make sure you're ready using the King computerized exam review. You'll prepare for your FAA check ride with the King flight test course, and you'll sharpen your cockpit skills with 3 takeoff videos of your choice. Plus, as a bonus, you'll receive the latest FAR-AIM CD-ROM and an additional takeoff video of the month. But why not get it all? With the spectacular Aviator Plus package, you'll receive everything in the Aviator package, plus the entire 13-tape Takeoff video collection. Phone your order in now. Call 1-800-854-1001. That's 1-800-854-1001. And win this sensational Skyhawk.